Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gashi Skyman TV. The new IBC has announced that they are going to do away with the voters card. Kenyans, you only require the ID for them to vote. And I don't know what you think, whether this is a good idea or not. They are going to use biometrics. And they have gone ahead and they are saying they are also going to use that idea of identifying people using the iris, that part of the eye, to know whether you are a genuine voter. Ladies and gentlemen, who is benefiting from this? Why do you think the IBC has decided to do away with the voter's card and to use the identification card to vote? I want us to look at first the advantages and then the disadvantages before we make our own conclusions. Number one, let's go to the pros. When you use ID without the voter's card, it is actually less expensive because issuing of voter's card is expensive. Replacing the lost voter's card is also expensive. Registration of voters is very, very expensive. Although the Constitution says that voters registration should be a continuous exercise, it goes ahead again and says that when it comes to identification of voters, they say the documents that were used during the registration are the same document that will be used during voting. So I think they are right on that one. It is less expensive, and this means that they are going to reduce the operational costs. It's not that easy. You know, what IBC need to do is to settle in office very, very fast. And because we are headed for by-elections that are coming very soon, you agree with me that if in these by-elections, if they are going to test by saying what you need is just the ID, then you agree with me that it is a good idea. Number two, in my view, is that when you use the biometrics, it has become easier to verify and identify the voters. It is actually more transparent because you see, the KIMS kits will give real time, even the results, we will be able to see how many people have voted, how many people have been registered, what are the percentage of people who have voted against those who are registered in a certain polling station. So the registration and verification will be transparent because this is something that you can be able to audit. This is something that you can be able to see. The other thing is that it is not easy to tamper with the biometrics. What we are saying here is that biometrics are tamper-proof. It is not easy for you to actually try to interfere with this because how are you going to change the identification using the iris? How are you going to change using the fingerprints? Because these are the way the biometrics works. So it's a good idea when you look at it that way. Again, when I look at it, I can say this, that, previously, people used to duplicate voters' card. That is the truth of the matter. And some of the things that were done by IBC, you realize some people had more than one voting cards. They could do it, they could vote. And because it's not something that you need to use all the time, you just need to use it once after 5 years. Then, I think, unlike the ID, which will be required to use many times, when it comes to this one, the duplication was very, very easy. Again, when you look at the way the voter's card is made, it is something that is very, very cheap. Yani, imetengenezwa tu hivyo tu, iwe yawe tu. It's something that can easily be made at the back street. So, once the IBC do away with voter's card, it is a plus if you ask me. Again, the turnout. Without the voters card, I think the turnout will be good. Some regions, people have not been coming out to vote because they don't have voters card. Some people have been very, very busy to register as voters, but they have IDs. That is the truth of the matter. A number of our youth, for example, have IDs, but they don't have voters card. I noted, for example, in the last general elections, the people who are voting were from the age of 30 and above. Okay, I'm not saying that those who are the Gen Zs who are not voting. They were voting, but the number was not something to be proud of, considering that we have so many youth. So the turnout will be a plus. What are the dangers of using the ID? What are the dangers of doing away with the voter's card? Number one, and this one is extremely dangerous, foreigners can vote. Yes, foreigners can vote. I want to remind you one thing, that William Samoei Ruto lifted that idea of vetting people from the northeastern, something that has been in place for more than 60 years. It was lifted. And I remember Natembea pleading with the president that this is one way of opening our country to criminals, to terrorists, to people without good intentions. But the president lifted this idea, and when you look at it, those people who are in the government celebrated. So, if foreigners are going to be issued with IDs, it's very easy to issue foreigners with IDs, they are going to vote. People who live along the border, Uganda, Kenya, Somali, they can penetrate our country, they can enter our country and vote. And then, after voting, they go back to their home. That is the reality. Number two danger is that leaking is likely to happen. We are likely to open a floodgate of rigging elections. I'm saying this because anybody can get an ID. I'm saying this because a number of Kenyans will get IDs. I'm saying this because, with corruption in Kenya and its ugly face, you can get anything in Kenya. That is the truth of the matter. Kenya is hopelessly corrupt, and the government has not been fighting corruption. That means that the issuance of IDs can be given to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Again, I've noted something with Kipchumba Murkomen, and this one shocked me. It's a good idea, but the urgency in which Kipchumba Murkomen was taking it is frightening. That Kipchumba Murkomen the government has actually come up with mobile registration units where Kenyans will be issued with IDs. And it is going to take between 3 and 7 days for you to get an ID. The urgency itself tells something. The government is moving with speed. The government wants to see as many people registered as possible. And because the government that is in office is the one that will be deciding these machines will be taken which place at what time, what will stop the government from, for example, sending these machines to where they have support and denying them or limiting them, where opposition has a huge following. It's about the election. This election is just it's like a matter of life and death when I look at it. Again, I also heard the government want to introduce refugees cards, identification cards, and they can be used to identify the refugees as they integrate with Kenyans. It means that, in a nutshell, that refugees are going to vote. And if the refugees are going to vote, do you think they can vote for opposition? Do? Because you see, they understand that the government has accommodated them. They understand that the government has tolerated them, has given them IDs, now want to integrate them. Do you think they can vote against the government, the sitting government, the government that is office, the government of William Samoei Ruto? So, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do we do away with the voter's card and use the biometrics? What do you think? Kindly give your honest opinion in the comment section. Otherwise, there are pros and cons. Otherwise, there are advantages and disadvantages. Have a blessed evening. Till next time, this is Gashi Skyman. Bye-bye.